Hello everybody, welcome. Today I have something completely new and different for all of you. Stick around if you enjoy bossing, getting lots of loot or collecting pets, cause you might find this video somewhat interesting. How impressive is it to complete an entire collection log of a boss? Pretty freaking impressive, right? Or is it? Is it more impressive to have good RNG, or to have the patience to stick to your goal and finally achieve it? Some people are super lucky and finish a certain boss collection on a super low kill count, while others are unlucky and have to get thousands and thousands of kills for a pet, or for that one final item drop. This got me thinking though, what exactly is considered lucky on a boss, and what is considered unlucky? We know many of the drop rates of items and pets, but for many of those there is a threshold, which means that the drop rate changes on a certain kill count. So what is the average kill count on which you can expect a pet? Besides that, there's no set number that describes how many kills you have to get to complete an entire collection log. At what point are you lucky? But most important for most players, at what point are you actually unlucky? To figure all of that out, I had to take matter into my own hands and decided to complete the collection log of a certain boss, the King Black Dragon. But I did not just complete it once. Not even just a couple of times. I completed the King Black Dragon collection log 1,000,000 times. Okay, well, I did not do that myself, I had 1,000,000 players do it for me. What do you mean Runescape 3 doesn't have a tenth of that as active players? Give us a break. I didn't mean 1,000,000 actual players, I'm talking about simulations. So I wrote a little program that simulates boss kills, King Black Dragon for this instance. It also keeps record of all the loot that a player would be getting from killing a boss. And it does that until it recognizes that the collection log has been completed, as simple as that. Then I made that simulation run 1,000,000 times, which represents 1,000,000 players killing King Black Dragon until they finish the collection log. And now we can take a look at some of the data that was collected and see what a lucky player would look like compared to an unlucky player. Remember, no real King Black Dragons were harmed in the making of this video. To start off, let's take a look at what the average log completion would look like. The numbers that you can see in this summary are basically what they would look like if you got everything at or very close to the actual drop rate. I literally took averages of all the recorded data, so I added up all loot and all kill counts for all of the simulations and divided it by 1,000,000. As you can see at the bottom, the average kill count to complete the entire collection log for the King Black Dragon and obtain the Last Rider title is 6,566. This includes having to get the Draconic Visage from KBD as well though. We will later in this video take a look at how the numbers would look if you got the Draconic Visage elsewhere. The average kill count for the pet drop turns out to be 1,162, so don't get encouraged if it takes you this many kills to get it, you're still on average. If you got the pet before kill count 1,162, consider yourself lucky. For those of you who are looking to get the Master Quest Cape and need to get the Last Rider's book, the average kill count for that is 817. On the left side you can see what kind of loot you can expect from 6,566 King Black Dragon kills. All of the drop rates are from the Runescape wiki, but as you may know, a lot of the drops are just categorized as common, rare or very rare. So because of that I had to make a few educated guesses, which turned out to be alright I think. But if I'm being honest, only the effigy drop rate I'm being a little skeptical about, they seem a little common. But then again, I don't actually have experience on killing 6k KBDs, so I wouldn't know. The total loot value for an average title completion is around 206 mil. That is of course all the loot above picked up and price checked according to the Grand Exchange prices. If you would find yourself in this scenario, then you're not lucky and not unlucky, you're just average. Out of 1,000,000 simulations, what was the fastest completed collection log? Or in other words, which simulation was the luckiest out of all of them? The lowest kill count to get all drops needed for the title was only 341. That is absolutely insane if you know that most items are a 1 in 2,000 chance to get and the Draconic Visage being 1 in 5,000. The pet for this specific simulation dropped at kill count 24, Note that this is not the lowest kill count to get the pet, we will cover that later. For the luckiest title completion, however, the pet dropped at 24. The book dropped at kill count 279, pretty late compared to 341 kills for the entire log. Then the final item needed to complete the log was one of the Dragon Kite ornament kits, which obviously dropped at kill count 341. All of the loot together is only worth 12 mil, barely anything, but if it means you're 100% done with the boss, I would take that. Now, don't get too excited to go finish King Black Dragon yourself in under 350 kills. Remember that only 1 in a million players gets this lucky. Now that we've covered the fastest completion, what about the slowest? How unlucky can you get on a certain boss or on one item? The most kills it took for one simulation to obtain the title was freaking 75,218, absolutely mind-blowing. Then if we take a look at the pet and the book kill count, we can see that this player or simulation got very lucky on those two drops, with the pet coming in at kill count 291 and the book dropping at kill count 28. The one item that made this simulation go over 75,000 kill count was the Draconic Visage, because as you can see, it got almost 40 of all of the other collection log items. Taking this long, it made the total loot value get up to 2.3 bill, but still, I'm not sure if I would want to spend my time killing this many King Black Dragons for that amount of GP. On a positive note, if you do find yourself in this situation, just remember that you're 1 in a million and you're very special. There is no way, however, anybody will keep killing KBD for that Draconic Visage when they got all the other drops already and can just get that Visage somewhere else, right? Let's exclude all less significant items and see what changes. As you can see at the top left, I put a red square around the item that you wouldn't necessarily need to get from the King Black Dragon itself, the Draconic Visage. The average kill count to obtain the title dropped from 6,566 to 4,211. That is quite a lot if you ask me. That's about 30% less kills. Of course, because it took less kills, the total loot value has also dropped from 206 million to only 130 million. Average pet and book kill count are not affected because they're the same drop rate as before. Then here you can see what the lowest amount of kills was to get all items except for the Draconic Visage. Only 132 kills. That equals about 2 hours of efficiently killing KBD. The pet dropped at 33 kill count and the final item in this case was the Last Rider's book itself at 132. As you can see, with very few kills comes barely any loot, as the total value is only 5 million. But come on, who cares about the loot if you can finish the collection log so soon? Finally, here's the summary of the unluckiest completion, without including the Draconic Visage. It still took the simulation 31,533 kills for the title. The pet and book dropped way before that at only 643 and 1005 kills. But after these it was far from over. Although 4 Draconic Visages were received in the process, the final item needed was again one of the Dragon Kite ornament kits. So basically, for this unlucky player, there was no way around it than to get 31,533 kills for the final drop, resulting in a loot value of a little under 1 billion. I will let you decide if this would be worth it, but it is definitely one of a kind. Now to finish up, let's take a look at possibly the 2 most desired items from King Black Dragon in a simple graph. This is a graph that represents the pet drop throughout all 1 million simulations. The higher the graph goes, the more players actually get the pet at that point. There are 2 things that I find very interesting about this graph. Firstly, I find it super satisfying to see how the amount of pets peaks around every 500 kills. This is because of the threshold that the King Black Dragon scale has, to somewhat make it easier to get after some time. According to the graph, you're most likely to get your pet around either kill count 500 or kill count 1000, since those 2 peaks are the highest. The second thing I find interesting is how common it appears to be to get the pet at an extremely low kill count like 1 KC, opposed to getting it on an extremely high kill count, like 5,494, which was actually the highest for the pet to drop in 1 million simulations. You can barely even see the graph anymore, although it does go all the way to the right side of the screen. So don't worry, you'll have to be very unlucky to not get it until then. And lastly, for all of you Master Quest capers, the infamous lore book. Luckily, you're 100% guaranteed to get this drop on killcount 2000 if you didn't get it before. I still found it very interesting to see this distribution of all the simulations. Your likeliness to get the book early is pretty high and drops down until you're on 1000 kill count. After that the drop rate keeps increasing, but the amount of simulations getting the drop stays about the same. So basically how you could interpret this is that you're just as likely to get the book at 1000 KC as you are to get it at 2000 KC. That was that for this video. I really hope you found it as interesting to look at those numbers as I did. I didn't actually get the collection log done myself, but maybe with all of the information we just covered, you got somewhat excited to go for the collection log. Or maybe you already completed it and had fun comparing yourself to the average and best and worst cases. Please let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this kind of video and want to see any of the other RuneScape 3 bosses, be sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel, because I'm planning to put my army of simulations to work once again. Thanks for watching, and I will hopefully see you next time.